From the time you drive up to the restaurant and you see the name Les Deux Gros means the two fat guys, we want everybody to understand that we're poking fun at ourselves, and that's why my brother and I are in the sign. You know, the whole idea is to kind of lighten the mood before you walk in the door. And then once you walk in the door, we want you to be transported.
The preparation of that main course is a trio.
What we try to do here is more of an elevated form of bourgeois cuisine. So things that are going to be very approachable for people, but done in a method or technique that would be recognized as being something very classical, something very rooted in fundamental basic technique and method. And it's very important to me. We want it to be approachable, we want it to be fun, we don't want it to be stuffy, we don't want it to be pretentious, we want it to be approachable. If it's not approachable and it's not understood, then chances are it's not going to move on the menu, and we want people to come in and experience things that they wouldn't normally experience. This is not downtown Chicago, so to be able to bring people into a restaurant like this in Glen Ellyn is nice. I mean, that's the whole idea.
All right, so tell us why out of all the restaurants in the city, you picked this one.
Well, I like to consider myself a culinary urbanista, and so I have no problem venturing beyond the parameters of Chicago. So for me, Les Deux Gros is one of those just special, intimate, romantic little restaurants because it is so small, and it reminds me of a little restaurant in Paris that I love the food, I love the way I'm treated there, and I like the intimacy. And their wine cellar is just extraordinary, and the service has always been great.
Now this is where the show gets très bon. Let's. What about your experience, Ellery?
The food was exceptional, I will say. It was a huge 4-course meal with sorbet and everything to cleanse the palate. It was great service. But my whole experience in general was kind of skewed by the conservative attitude of the place and of the staff and of my fellow patrons. So I kind of didn't want to like the food because I didn't really like the environment, but then despite it all, the food was good.
I think it goes beyond just a conservative attitude as well, because we got downright snotty with me.
Oh, we're going to get très bon now.
Yeah. I had a miserable time at Les Deux Gros. I mean, right off the bat.
No, don't hold back, really. Tell us how it really tell us how it really was.
Right off the bat, the attitude that I got from everyone, the servers, the sommelier, first thing that they did when I was seated was that I'm a vegetarian, and I had called ahead of time to set aside a plate that they would make for me. When I was seated, the waiter did not know what the vegetarian dish was. And so I asked, what would it be so I can pair the wine accordingly. And so at that point, I asked for the sommelier. He came over, he could describe the dish, but the first thing that he said out of his mouth was, "I've assumed you've dined out before," which was shocking. I was literally in shock. And then, without even letting me answer, he went on to say that, "Well, I don't care where you've been before, but this food will knock you out. I guarantee you'll never ever have food like this before." Which I understand that the place wants to play up their chef, but this is going way out of control.
Arrogant.
It was just absolutely arrogant. So it's beyond a conservative attitude. They really had a very uptight and snotty attitude with me.
Well, I must have had a bunch of different people because that was just not my experience at all. In fact, if I had ever been treated that way, I would never go back.
Right.
Because I will never put up with snobbery. For me, it's the way I'm treated, it's the environment, it's the good wine and the food. Otherwise, I would never return, and that's kind of disappointing to me because I really do love this restaurant. And I, again, can't stress how wonderful it is. I did the prefixed menu, which was the 5 courses, of course. We threw caution to the wind, we didn't care. And we started out with a puff pastry, which they call a fun for the mouth. And then...
amuse-bouche.
Mouche-bouche. Thank you. Yes, see, somebody help me here.
We already know I'm bad with the French.
And it was so pretty, and to me, everything was served to me in a big flare. Like I said, I must have been on the on night. But anyways, and after that, I ended up having the farm-raised meats, and it had like potato medallions, and they put a little quail egg on top of it, and it was beautifully presented. I mean, it was just exceptional. And then I had the trio of chocolates, but I think we were coveting the apple surprise, which another person had, and it was exceptional.
What was the cheese plate like?
Well, unfortunately, of course, I don't remember any of the names of the cheeses, but they wheeled it over on a cart, and he explained every different type of cheese, where they were from, what kind of taste to expect.
Pave dauphinoise, which is a triple cream. Comte de Gruyere. Balancé.
Yeah.
This is an aged dry goat cheese. This is a fresh triple cream. It's a Bria sour.
It was beautiful and so good.
Yeah, I think the cheese plate was probably the highlight of my dinner as well. We started off with a frisee salad and goat cheese on top.
Very classic.
Very classic, exactly. But then that's where it started to get bad. By that time, those first 2 courses were out in 15 minutes. So at that point, I felt a little, were they trying to kick me out of here? Were they shuffling things on? And I hadn't even gotten the wine list yet. Yes, and which is a major, major flaw. But between that dish, the salad dish, and the main course, there was a 45-minute wait. Getting your first 2 courses in 15 minutes and a 45-minute wait for your entree is just unacceptable. And after that,
You're like the food police.
Yeah,
we don't
I'm
even need
sorry.
the fashion police anymore.
Well, when you're paying for such an expensive meal like that, you
You
have to.
expect it to be perfect.
I guess I was lucky that night or something.
You were in an alternative
Universe,
universe when you were there.
I bring this good dining karma with me or something.
But Juana, this was your pick, so give us a summary of it.
Well, I would say it's an exceptional place to go for great wines, good service, and good food. And pick Saturday night at 6 o'clock. So
And may we, Ellery,
I think you can find the same food for a better price and a more lively environment.
Joe.
I found food uninspiring and way too expensive, and the service is absolutely atrocious. It was just unexcusable.
All right, well, you can take your chances, I guess, at Les Deux Gros at 462 Park Boulevard in Glen Ellyn, 630-469-4002. They're open Wednesday through Friday for lunch and dinner, and Saturdays and Sundays for dinner only. Don't go on Mondays or Tuesdays when they're closed, and reservations are accepted. And the average tab per person without drinks is about $70.